Mamilius, the young prince in Shakespeare's Winter's Tale, famously says that ghost stories are a major part of Christmas time. A sad tale's best for winter. I have one of sprites and goblins. He might as well have been talking about Dickens, but he might equally have been talking about Russell Brand. The brief line is rich in meaning. Mamilius is suggesting that the cold and the dark atmosphere of winter is an ideal time for eerie, melancholic, fantastic stories, ones that evoke the supernatural, the unsettling. His remark about sprites and goblins alludes to ghostly and magical elements that would have been familiar to Shakespeare's audience as part of the folklore and the oral storytelling traditions. Indeed, when you go to the Russian traditions of Christmas Eve, the Rimsky-Korsakov opera, the idea that Christmas is a very sacred time means that the minutes immediately before that, Christmas Eve, are a time for the devil's playground, and the sprites and the goblins come out from under the eaves of the house, and the very top of the house where the wall meets the ceiling. There's a little sort of rail. That's where the goblins live, and that's and they come out to do mischief and late tonight. And the line about the sad tale is a thematic resonance about the play as a whole. The Winter's Tale explores dark and sorrowful themes, including jealousy, betrayal, death, but ultimately it moves towards redemption and reconciliation and truth. And truth is encouraged to step forward like a statue coming back to life. The tragic arc of the first play is mirrored in the happiness that comes to rest in the second part of the play. And there's I think conspiracy theories are our ghost stories, and they need to be called out, entertained for a while, but called out, because they are just stories. And the claim that I was just talking to somebody now who said, "Oh, have you heard so and so?" And I thought, well, no, I haven't, and it doesn't sound real, and it isn't. The claim that Bill Gates has been indicted in the Netherlands for misleading the public about COVID-19 vaccines. The story is peddled by figures like Russell Brand and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It spread faster than a sneeze in flu season, and yet it is, like many viral claims, built on shaky ground. This peculiar narrative gained momentum following a civil lawsuit filed in the Dutch District Court of Northern Netherlands by a group of 7 plaintiffs. These individuals, self-described as corona skeptics, allege that Gates, along with 16 other defendants, including the former Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte and even the Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla, had misled the public about the safety and effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccines. They claim physical and psychological harm as a result of the vaccination. So far, so good. Kennedy, then speaking at a rally for Donald Trump in Georgia, declared with great gusto that Gates had been indicted for lying to the public. That's an extension, an embellishment of the facts. Social media posts amplified this claim, with conspiracy theorists delighting in the notion of a billionaire facing justice. But we have to pause and ask, what does the evidence actually say? First, and most importantly, this isn't a criminal case. It's a civil lawsuit, and the Dutch court has merely agreed to hear the case, exercising international jurisdiction due to Gates's alleged involvement. And the decision is procedural, not a judgment of merit. Gates was required to pay a modest legal fee after unsuccessfully contesting jurisdiction, but he has not been indicted, arrested, or ordered to appear in person. The Dutch lawmaker Remy Verkerk succinctly clarified this case is a private dispute. There will be no police van coming to collect Mr. Gates. In fact, Gates is not required to attend the court hearings and can be represented by attorneys. Any potential outcome of this case would be limited to civil damages, not criminal penalties. So why then has this legal footnote been transformed into a grand indictment? The answer lies in the fertile imagination of conspiracy theorists, who've long targeted Gates as the bogeyman of the pandemic, and his advocacy for vaccines. Whether you like them or not, it doesn't matter. You come down to the facts. His advocacy contributes to global health initiatives, and involvement in the World Economic Forum's Great Reset agenda have made him a lightning rod for paranoia. The Great Reset, an initiative to rebuild economies sustainably post-pandemic, has been twisted into a dystopian plot for world domination, and figures like Kennedy have linked Gates's support for vaccination to a supposed agenda of population control and authoritarian governance. There is no such agenda. These claims are outlandish, and they are supported by no evidence, yet they persist because they feed into broader fears about a loss of autonomy and a distrust of the elite. But the fact that you don't, the fact that you are worried about your autonomy, the fact that you don't trust the elite, doesn't mean there is a plot. The misinformation thrives on ambiguity and selective interpretation, and in this case, the legal jargon of a Dutch court ruling has been mischaracterized to fit a pre-existing narrative. And social media platforms have amplified this distortion, which claims that Gates faces extradition or trial in the Netherlands, both of which are patently false. This isn't the first time Gates has been accused of nefarious vaccine-related activities. Similar allegations have circulated for years, ranging from claims that he plans to depopulate Africa to assertions that he secretly controls global health policy. These stories often originate from dubious sources, but gain traction because they resonate with deep-seated anxieties about power, health and freedom, and twits like Kennedy repeat this nonsense without actually investigating. The perpetuation of such conspiracy theories is not harmless. They undermine public trust in vaccines, they discourage evidence-based health decisions, they distract from real accountability, and by fixating on fictional indictments, we lose sight of legitimate debates about vaccine accessibility, public health transparency, and the role of philanthropy and global government. But more importantly, if there is something wrong with the vaccines, there may well be. This sort of conspiracy theory throws the baby out with the bathwater. What we need is more scientific investigation. What we need is more development. What we need is more scientific commitment and far less of this babble. As the case in the Netherlands moves forward, it's essential to separate fact from fiction. The court has not ruled on the merits of the plaintiff's claims, and it remains to be seen whether they can substantiate their allegations. What we do know is that this case is a far cry from the dramatic indictment portrayed by conspiracy theorists. So we have to remember that the truth often lacks the drama of a good conspiracy theory. Bill Gates is not standing trial in the Netherlands for crimes against humanity. He's facing a civil lawsuit filed by individuals dissatisfied with their vaccine experience. To conflate the two is not just misleading, it's dangerous, and it's time-wasting. And it's preying on the gullible. And as we navigate a world saturated with misinformation, we have to approach such claims with a healthy dose of skepticism, a commitment to evidence, and a determination to put things right. The next time somebody tells you that Gates has been indicted, ask them to show you the police van. It's not coming. There is no indictment.